Hello everyone, welcome to General Orlando 327 plays Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. I'm gonna get this going here. I am going to be playing it on Proud Mode, which makes me mention that I am not a professional gamer. A lot of you are probably familiar with Kingdom Hearts. You're probably aware of all of the right ways it's supposed to be done. And for the most part, I'm aware of them and, tend to do them, but I may not do them to perfection. Part of the fun of this video for me, or the series of videos, is going to be the fact that you guys can see that I am not a perfect gamer, and
I've been having these
you
weird
can
thoughts lately.
have fun making fun of me. So, without any further ado, let's get into the opening cutscene here. It's also worth noting that I am new to filming videos like this. I am just starting out on YouTube, and I am doing 3 series simultaneously. I am doing this, obviously. I'm also doing Final Fantasy 13, and I'm doing Tales of Graces F. So you'll have to forgive the fact that I may not be the most polished YouTuber in the world. I hope eventually I'll get to the point where it's not too noticeable, but I'll probably never be the most polished person in the world, and I think that's going to be part of my just part of my personality on YouTube, because I think we live in a world where gamers who play these kinds of games a lot tend to or think that they're good enough to broadcast, think that they have all the experience in the world, which often is true, but in my case, I don't take myself too seriously, especially when it comes to playing games like this. I think part of the enjoyment, especially for people who are fans of the series that I'm playing, will be the fact that it's not the same old things that you've seen every time. I may throw different strategies in that work better for me, or I may do things that are obviously not the right way of doing things, but that's the way I do them. So enjoy that. Have fun, laughing at me. I don't have any problem with that. One of the reasons I'm talking through this, besides the obvious, the fact that it's copyrighted and that as it is, they're gonna, give me a copyright notification on it. But the other reason I'm talking through it is because I've done this, I've tried to film this particular episode about 10 times now. And for one reason or another, it just hasn't been up to the standards that I'd like it to be before I put it on YouTube. So I've heard Simple and Clean about 10 times in the last 8 days. So, yeah, a little sick of it. I'm going to breeze through the tutorial. Nothing in here is anything that you guys are going to really care about. If you're not familiar with the Kingdom Hearts series, first off, go get it. It's pretty awesome. Second off, the tutorial stuff is well documented online. If you really care about the details of it, you can look it up. I will mention a couple things as I go along, but other than that, I'm not going to do spoilers in this playthrough, because part of the reason that I'm doing the series is that I'm doing, particularly the other two, are because I think that they're either underrated series, or because I think they've been given a bad rap by either the media or gamers in general, who don't think that they're either great installments of their particular series, or that the series is just unknown. When I'm playing Proud Mode, I always choose the shield, and I always give up the sword, because the sword is the easiest one to make up for later in game. I don't like to give up magic because it gives up a larger MP amount at the beginning, which also measures your magic potential. So this is just the way I always choose to play it. I know some people prefer to do it basically the opposite and take the strength at the beginning, assuming that you're going to make some defense ups and make up for the lost defense later in the game when it's a little bit less relevant. But I like to have like I say, I'm not a great gamer necessarily, so I prefer to have the extra defense at the beginning of the game when the grinding is a little bit more crucial. But the rest of the tutorial I'm just gonna breeze through because you don't care about the tutorials, you want to watch me play the game. I started saying that my other two series I'm doing because of thinking that they're great games and series that may be underrated. Obviously, that's not the case in Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is a well-established series with very little detractors to the first title in the series. So this one is mostly for my enjoyment and for the fact that like I say, I'm new to YouTube, and I know for a fact that Kingdom Hearts gets views. So, whereas my other two series, like I said, they're not designed for, to appeal to an audience that already exists for the most part. So this is kind of my gap between, or my bridge for the gap between unknown games and well-known games. And I love the series, so, there is that. I'm not totally selling out my channel to, just to get a like. I think it's worth playing, otherwise I wouldn't be playing it. Which leads me to my next point. I am not a true completionist. I am and I'm not. I consider myself to be a practical completionist, that I will do basically everything in a game as long as there's a purpose behind it, and as long as it's not intentionally designed to make me want to throw my controller through the screen. For that reasons, I don't play Dark Souls, I don't play any of those types of games. I typically would play this game on a normal difficulty or even beginner, because I don't really care about the difficulty, I care about the storyline. But these games are not too bad on even their most difficult, got ahead of myself there, on even their most difficult settings, so I don't have a problem doing it with this. We're leading to about the only part of the tutorial that actually matters. We're getting a scene right here where they ask us a series of 3 questions, and the answers that you choose determine the rate at which you level up throughout the game. There are 3 sets of answers to each question. If you choose the top answer to all the questions, you're going to level up very quickly at the beginning and then very slowly for the last 60 levels. So you level up very quickly for the first 40 and very slowly for the last 60. The bottom set is the exact opposite. You level up very slowly for the first 40 and then very quickly for the last 60, which is the one that I typically choose on anything other than Prow Mode. However, for Prow Mode, I just take the middle track, which is just the even leveling throughout the entire game. Of all the things that I choose to care about in Proud Mode, the rate at which I level is not one of them. And I'd rather just not have to worry about a spike at any point, so it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the actual answers to the questions. I think when I did this the first time without knowing that it mattered, I had mostly the bottom answers. Can't remember now, but so yeah, That's what we want. So interesting story. Kingdom Hearts for me, I was introduced to when I was in high school. And when I first played the first game, I was like, okay, this is an interesting game, an interesting premise, a combination of, Squaresoft games, well, Square Enix games, and Disney. Okay, that's cool, that's unique. But I borrowed it from a friend of mine. And I, didn't care if I bought it or not. It was a decent game. I enjoyed it. But I didn't really care that much. I wasn't that invested in it, other than the fact that it was an interesting thing. I'm not a big action type gamer. I much prefer old, the ATB system menu battles of the PlayStation era Final Fantasy games. If you're familiar with the Tales of series, I enjoy that kind of a command style, where it's a little bit more strategic, whereas this is a lot of, even in Proud and Critical mode, it's a lot of, same tactic over and over again in a fight. So I wasn't, this was a decent game for me, but it wasn't one of the best of all time. And I still don't think it's necessarily, it alone is not one of the best of all time for me. But when I played Kingdom Hearts 2 for the first time, I absolutely fell in love with it. And if you're going to play Kingdom Hearts 2, then you need to play Kingdom Hearts 1. So I went back and bought both games. Didn't buy Chain of Memories for a long time, because I didn't need anything more than Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 at the time. I basically didn't buy Chain of Memories until after I got a DS, so that I could play 358 over 2 days. And at that point, I finally went back and caught up on Chain of Memories and played a little bit of it, and then decided that the card system was just not my thing. I ended up watching most of the cutscenes on YouTube because I didn't care that much. Whether I will play that game on my channel or not, I have not decided yet. I will probably actually play this and then Birth by Sleep before I even go on to Kingdom Hearts 2. I think it's just a more natural flow of... target the right thing. Or don't. Fine. That's talking and not paying attention to what I was doing. I'll do that a lot. Have fun. So anyway, so I actually went back. I will probably do this game and then 358 because I think it's a little bit more useful in terms of explaining a lot of storyline. I really wish I had something that I could play 358 on, because I think that's a very overlooked game in this series, partially because the only thing that's in the compilation mixes Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 individually for PS3 and then combined for PS4, because only the cutscenes are playable on there. You don't actually get to play the game, and there's a lot that's told in the events of actual missions in the game that is not communicated through cutscenes alone. And I think that's kind of a bit of a crime in this series, because I think 358, while the mechanics were occasionally annoying, the storyline I think is one of the best of the series, and absolutely critical to understanding the events of Kingdom Hearts 2. Of course, I think the same thing about this isn't good. That's better. You can actually lose that battle and continue on with the game. You just don't get the massive experience that you get from beating the guy, basically. Doing it this way, I can typically get 2-3 levels from this fight easily. I think I only got 2 there because I didn't get up to the head the first time that he punched the ground. But anyway, so you know, I probably will play Birth by Sleep because that's honestly one of my favorite games in this franchise. I know some people don't like the command style that it uses, but I rather enjoyed it. For one thing, it made a non-pro gamer like me who tends to power level at the beginning, and made it so that the game wasn't incredibly annoying later on, for the most part. Now we get to the first real cutscene in the game. First one that makes any sense, anyway.
Whoa!
Give me a break, Irie.
Sorry, you lazy bum. I knew that I'd find you snoozing down here.
No, this huge black thing swallowed me up. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't... Ow!
Are you still dreaming?
It wasn't a dream. Or was it? I don't know. What was that place? So bizarre.
Yeah, sure.
Say, Kyrie, what was your hometown like? You know, where you grew up?
I've told you before. I don't remember.
Nothing at all?
Nothing.
You ever want to go back?
Well, I'm happy here.
How can you be happy in a place
Really?
that's just sand
But no.
and beach and more sand and more beach?
See it?
There's no Wi-Fi,
See it too.
no electricity,
Any other worlds out there?
no video games, no cell phones.
So what are we waiting for?
Hey! Aren't you guys forgetting about me? So, I guess I'm the only one working on the raft.
With
And you're
one
just
mob.
as lazy as he is.
So you know this. Okay, we'll finish it together. I'll race you.
Huh?
What?
Yes,
You
we'll
kidding?
finish it together as the only person working on it sits down. And then goes racing to the opposite side of the island. Yep. Getting a lot of work done there. Feels like they should put up a construction sign that says men at work. Okay, so I mentioned that I don't do spoilers, but I'm also not going to be pretending that I haven't played this game before, because that would just be boring for you to watch. So I'm just going to do the things that I know I have to do anyway. If I could hit the right buttons, that would make things easier. But, you know, I won't spoil any plot stuff. You'll get the cutscenes, you'll get all of that stuff. Some of the cutscenes I do kind of have to talk over a little bit, just for sake of the fact that in order to argue that it's not violating copyright or fair use, I have to be able to argue that that I did something transformative with it. Hopefully later in the series I will be able to have my webcam going properly. I just haven't gotten it set up properly yet. Oh yeah, I don't have guard yet. If I weren't doing this as a Let's Play, I usually grind to about level 9 on this island. By doing these optional fights over and over and over again. But I'm not going to put you guys through that, and it's really not necessary. Like I say, I just do it because I tend to power level early on in games like this. for the sake of my own sanity later. So all I'm gonna do in this playthrough is one of each of these optional fights, win or lose, which I'll probably lose against Riku and possibly against the 3 combined people. I got the rope that's up there. Yeah, I've got one I needed.
Ah, the breeze feels great.
Oh, you know what? I think I already got Slap Shot, didn't I? No, just HP 0. Okay, that's later. Probably get it right after I get off the island.
Okay, don't hold back. You ready?
The other thing that I'll mention is I'm old, relatively speaking. Probably older than most of the people that are going to be watching this. And my memory isn't, you know, perfect. So I actually do use guides, just so I don't forget things. Because like I say, I am to a certain point, a completionist. Okay. So I do use guides, but I also know these games fairly well enough that it shouldn't bother the stream at all.
Hey, what's happening, man?
They do his voice terribly. That was probably one of the biggest things that turned me off to this game originally when I first played it back in the day. Final Fantasy X is one of my favorite games, and the way that I didn't need it again. And the way that they got his voice so far off just drives me up a wall. It's the little things, you know? I don't usually get that one in I don't usually get his high-powered attack when I'm doing this, because usually I've killed him before that. Whatever. Alright, so that's that. I got that. I got that. Go this way. Without falling off would be good. Anyway, yes, have fun laughing at me, because I will probably be making fun of myself the entire time, too. Alright, so I will probably lose this fight because I tend to on prod mode. My reflexes, you know, I'm old. My reflexes aren't the best.
Come on!
Yeah, that attack always.
Don't tell me you're giving up.
I always push my attack a little bit too much on that one.
Hey! Don't tell me you're giving up already.
Yeah. See, if you position yourself just right, you can actually be inside the hitbox for that, but I never can seem to do it quite right, reliably enough. And then I do stupid things like that.
Don't tell me you're giving up already.
Okay, you can come get me now. Yeah. Okay, well, that's enough of that. It's a much easier leveling area on these same islands very, very soon.
So, Kyrie's home is out there somewhere, right?
Could be. We'll never know by staying here.
But how far could a raft take us?
Very good question.
If we have to, we'll think of something else.
So, suppose you get to another world. What would you do there?
Well, I haven't really thought about it.
But probably world
It's
domination.
just, I've always wondered why we're here, on this island. If if there are any other worlds out there, why did we end up on this one? And suppose there are other worlds. Then ours is just a little piece of something much greater. So, we could have just as easily ended up somewhere else, right?
I don't know.
That
Exactly.
depends on your view of quantum physics, actually.
That's why we need to go out there and find out. Just sitting here won't change a thing. It's the same old stuff. So let's go.
You've been thinking a lot lately, haven't you?
Thanks to you. If you hadn't come here, I probably would have never thought of any of this. Kairi, thanks.
You're welcome.
Sora! You wanted one, didn't you?
Well, yeah, who doesn't want an invincibility star?
If two people share one, their destinies become intertwined. They'll remain a part of each other's lives, no matter what.
Alright, this isn't Mario.
Come on, I know you want to try it.
What are you talking?
Yep, there goes invincibility. Imagine how short this game would be if he just hung on to that star. Meanwhile, in another world, but seriously, what in the Disney universe would be big enough to fit through those doors?
Good morning, Your Majesty. It's nice to see you this month.
Honestly, I would make fun of him for getting that far into the room and not seeing that there's nobody there, except from that distance, nobody could see that there was nobody there.
Wake up, Eugene, wake up. This is serious.
Come on, man, you could have at least cast water.
Hey there, Donald. Good
We
morning.
got a problem, Eugene. But don't tell anyone.
Ooh, Queen Minnie,
Not even the Queen.
Daisy.
No! It's top secret.
Oh, good morning, ladies.
What?
Yeah, maybe if you hadn't gone running through the castle screaming. Alright. Just stop up here for a second.
Me and Titus, we are gonna do a
Did
little
he really just say Titus? Ugh.
You know, to the secret place at the base.
I know that's like the established
There's gotta be something.
pronunciation of the FF10 character's name. But I'm sorry, it's never spoken in Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy X-2. So I'm still gonna call him Titus. It just feels so weird to say Titus. Penis. Ugh. I don't have that yet. I do need to get fish though. Fish, fish, fish. One fish. you a fish. And, fish. Red fish. No blue fish. Cerulean water though. Ah, can't get there from there. Thanks for that. Oh, I got the egg. I gotta get coconuts. The random number generator hates me on these coconuts. And I was gonna say it never drops the ones I'm looking for, but hey, maybe it's being nice to me today. Nope. Still not being nice to me.
Come on!
I don't think this tree actually drops them. So in case you're wondering why I'm not picking up the other coconuts, it won't let me. It'll only let you pick up the green ones. Or yellowish green ones, whatever you want to call that. All I know is it's not cerulean. In case you can't tell, I like that color. It's actually my favorite color growing up.
Stronger, but odds are you're still no match for Riku.
Little known fact.
We took him on 3-1.
And even less cared about
He
fact.
whipped us all. Well, I guess Kairi can always count on him.
Right. So I'm probably gonna lose this fight too.
Let's get it!
Maybe if I'd won the Riku fight, I might have been able to win this, but not real likely. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Go away. Okay, but go away. Thank you. Alright. One. No thanks. I don't want to take that. No, don't go close to Waka. I don't want to get in range of his little spin attack he does. Ow.
Come on!
Hey, now I got this made. If I cannot do that, go away. If I can take out both of them, it's over. There we go. Yeah, that's not bad. I'll take that.
You're unreal.
Yeah, and that's all you get out of that besides the experience is a potion. Woohoo! Did I get the second coconut? Yeah, I did. Okay, we're good there. Alright. Now we can go to the side of the island that wasn't available previously. I always name it the exact same thing that it would have gotten named anyway. Mostly because, you know, I'm an FF7 fan. The Highland was a great airship. If I could, you know, type correctly. So then we're gonna race to decide the name even though we agreed on the same name. First time I did that, I was just curious to see if they were actually smart enough to realize that I put the same name in, but they're not. And then I've just been doing that ever since.
If I win, I'm captain. And if you win,
I get to share the Palpu with Kairi.
huh?
Deal? The winner gets to share a Palpu with Kairi.
Wait a minute.
Okay, on my count.
So the secret to winning this race is to not follow the path. Instead of having to do all these, you know, wonderful jumps and hope that pieces of wood don't fall out from under you, because they do, just go around. Make it easy on yourself. Not only is the shortest distance between two non-Euclidean points not a straight line, it also, you know, saves you a lot of hassle jumping all over the place. Although, if I get stuck there, it might be a problem. Nope, because he's still going to go the other way. Just have to make this jump properly. And I win. Which means whatever I put in that little naming field, they would have named the ship. But like I said, I don't really care. I don't understand why you would name a ship Excalibur. It's not a... No. I'm not flying a sword. Or I guess we're naming a raft, aren't we? Still, not sailing a sword. Although I do use a wood sword, apparently. Maybe a little bit more apropos than I thought. Probably not much, though. Alright. Grab that. Put it on before I forget to equip it. Like I always do. Not that I particularly need it. Yeah, you know, if I wanted to use the zip line, I probably should have jumped. Did I get the mushroom that was here? No, I don't think I did. Mushroom. Alright, that gives us a second chance to use the zip line. Whee! Not that I particularly needed to, but it's always fun. As long as I don't have to do it in real life. I hate heights. The last thing we need is water, but I have to go back to the other side of the island. I should have gone the other way. Oh well, this way we have to go back around the other side of the island to get to... See, that's one of those boards that falls off from under you if you actually do the race, you know, the right way. Which you can still win it that way. As long as you make sure that none of those, you don't fall when any of those boards come out from under you, and you can actually beat them. If you do it right, you can actually trigger the board collapse and then jump at the right time. Oh crap, I didn't talk to Kyrie. Alright, well, let's get the last mushroom on here. Then I don't have to come all the way back over here. There are two sources for the water, so... anyway, if you trigger the board collapse and then jump right, it will actually collapse out from under him, and it makes it a whole lot easier to win, too. But it's still easier to just go around.
Who's there?
I've come to see the door to this world.
Huh?
This world has been connected.
Well, what are you talking about?
Tied to the darkness. Soon to be completely eclipsed.
Well, whoever you are, stop freaking me out like this. Huh? Well, where did you come from?
You do not yet know what lies beyond the door.
So you're from another world.
There is so very much to learn. You understand so little.
Oh yeah? Well, you'll see. I'm gonna get out and learn what's out there.
A meaningless effort. One who knows nothing can understand nothing.
So I always thought that the guy was standing in front of that wood thingy. It wasn't until one of the last times that I tried to film this episode that I realized that he's actually standing all the way over here. So, like, the question of where he comes from is even more interesting because, like, he didn't come through the obvious wooden-looking door. The other thing that interests me about that particular cutscene is when you have the scene of Sora and Kairi sitting there chipping away at the drawings on the cave wall. It shows them as being younger. This series, I believe, establishes that Sora is 14 at the time of this game, and I think it establishes that Kairi came here, I think, at around age 8. My memory of that could be incorrect, but I think those are about the right numbers. I'm fairly certain on the Sora part, but I think they established that Kairi showed up on the island at age 8. But she mentions earlier when talking to Sora that she doesn't remember anything about where she came from, which ends up being established later in the game, or later in the series, why that is. So I'm not going to spoil that for you, but the piece that has always interested me about that is when you have the conversation. Okay, seriously, it's not that hard to jump up there. Thank you. When you have the conversation with the three of them sitting on the tree branch and talking, Kairi asks Riku, she says, "You've been doing a lot of thinking about this whole other worlds thing, etc., etc." And he says, "Yes, and it's all thanks to you. I wouldn't have thought of any of this if you hadn't come to our world." And at first I always thought, forgetting about the scene that we just witnessed, I always thought that, like, that meant that somehow Kairi had just gotten there and just didn't have, memory of where she came from. Which, okay, yeah, it's a plot device, they can establish that. But then with that scene there where they're obviously much younger making those drawings, like, there's got to have been something else recently that triggered Riku's memory of all of this. Like, that's one thing I don't think is ever clarified in this series. And it's just, it's just a curiosity thing. It's not important. But, they explain a lot of the backstory to this in Birth by Sleep, which is why I honestly would have played Birth by Sleep first, if not for the fact that I am a new channel and I wanted to get something more established up there first. But it is the reason that I'm planning to do Birth by Sleep second in the series. I got the wonder now, so we got everything made. Because there's a lot of story stuff that makes a lot more sense after playing Birth by Sleep.
No, Riku has changed.
What do you mean?
Going directly from this to
You okay?
to Kingdom Hearts 2,
Sora, let's take.
or even to Chain of Memories, but
Just
to
the
Kingdom
two of
Hearts
us.
2 in particular,
Huh?
there's a lot of unanswered questions,
What's
even to the backstory of 1
You're the
still.
one that's changed,
that,
Kairi.
Maybe.
that I think the story is fuller if you
I was a
understand
little afraid at
Birth
first.
by Sleep
But
before
now I'm
you
ready.
try to figure out the complexities
No
of
matter
what
where I
happens
go
between 1 and 2,
What I see,
primarily Chain of
I
Memories
know I can
and
always come back here,
258 over 2 days.
right?
Yeah, of course.
That's good. Sora, don't ever change.
Huh?
I just can't wait. Once we set sail, it'll be great.
I'm actually making some pretty good time on this broadcast. We'll definitely face the first real boss of the game I don't even know if I would call him a real boss, but the first non-strictly tutorial boss of the game. And have the events after that. I don't know if we'll get anything in the next area yet or not in this stream.
It means
So one thing that letter that we just saw put up on the screen from Mickey to Donald mentions in the postscript to take care of Minnie and you know let her know that Mickey is okay, basically. But then when Donald runs off and tells Goofy, he says it's top secret and they can't tell Minnie.
oh, and to chronicle your travels.
Okay, Donald, did you not read the entire letter, or you know, is something else going on here?
Cricket's the name. Jiminy Cricket at your service.
We hope
These kinds of curiosities amuse me.
Please,
In case you
help
can't
the
tell.
king.
Oh, Goofy.
You're coming too.
Gosh, Jiminy, your world disappeared too?
It was terrible. We were scattered. And as far as I can see, I'm the only one who made it to this castle.
Goofy,
Oh, right. I gotcha. You mean while we're in other worlds, we can't let on where we're from, huh? We gotta protect the world border.
Because a giant anthropomorphic talking dog and Cricket and Duck are definitely going to be low key and not give off the
Guess
fact
we'll need
that
new
you know you're
duds
from
when we
another
get
world.
there, huh?
Yep. But hey, they thought of getting new duds, so you know at least they'll dress the part. Although I really like Goofy's helmet. I wish he kept it, but you know can't really fit in when you're wearing a suit of armor. In most worlds, anyway.
hello up there. Gotta get to lunch, True. I will grab your ready.
You know, if you're going to be flying a ship to other worlds, I could think of far worse people to be your crew than the Rescue Rangers. Sure, nothing ever goes right, but they always fix it. That always makes me chuckle. Even knowing it's there, it still makes me chuckle. Although I think it's honestly one of the reasons that I didn't catch on to the series as quickly as some other people did, because the level of cheese in this first game, the way they overplayed the fact that it's obviously, you know, supposed to be Disney-esque, that it kind of threw me off a little bit,
can't
because
wait
I was primarily a
set.
Final Fantasy gamer.
It'll be great.
So, you know, the fact that they were combining Final Fantasy and Disney, you know, it was just a little too cheesy for my taste. It was, you know, like I said, I still thought it was a good game. But I think once you get into, like, Kingdom Hearts 2, it gets into much more depth of story than it does. I mean, the story is huge in this game, and honestly, there's probably more story to this game than there is in Kingdom Hearts 2 for the most
Goose
part.
boat. And Kyrie's.
You know, in this game, every world you visit has a reason for the most part. Whereas in Kingdom Hearts 2, you're visiting and revisiting the same worlds without any particular reason that's necessarily driving the story. It's just, you gotta do such and such, but it's not really. It's just the same old things that you did in this game for the most part. But at the same time, the other interactions where you're visiting new places and you have a different... sorry, I'm talking instead of, you know, bothering to go where I'm supposed to go. I can't kill these things, that's why I'm not attacking them right now. But anyway, when you're visiting new worlds in the next game,
Where's Kyrie?
and
I thought she was with you.
and a lot of the interaction with established characters,
Door is open,
I think
Sora.
is a lot more
Now we can go to
dynamic
the outside
in the next
world.
game than
What
it
are you
is in
talking
this.
about? We've got to find Kyrie.
Kyrie's coming with us. Once we step through, we might not be able to come back. We may never see our parents again. There's no turning back. But this may be our only chance. We can't let fear stop us. I'm not afraid of the darkness.
Riku.
Looks more like a key club to me, but whatever. Doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well as Keyblade. So this is arguably the best area to farm experience in the first part of the game. When I say first part of the game, I mean on these islands. Every single one of these you kill is worth 1 experience. And there are quite literally over 100 of them in this area before you run out of them. And yes, it is actually possible to run out of them. Some people believe that they're infinite, but they are actually not. However, they are effectively infinite because as soon as you go into... There's a little shack that we haven't visited because I didn't care enough to save at this point. There's nothing really to lose. The shack that you go into with the little save point on this island actually will respawn all of the Heartless here. So you actually do have effectively infinite Heartless to kill here. I'm going to make one complete sweep of the entire area because I want to get one more level on here, I hope. And then I'm going to be done with it. And then we'll move on. So it's a little grindy right now, which brings up a point. For the most part, unless it's very short grinds like this, I will probably not include grinding in my main streams or my main videos for this series because I understand that most of you either have A, played the game and know, you know, what's going on and don't really care about the grinding areas, or B, haven't played the game and would prefer to watch me play the storyline. So what I will probably end up doing, this series will be airing on Wednesdays. I will upload hour-long videos every Wednesday, approximately hour-long, give or take, on Wednesdays. I also upload Final Fantasy 13 on Friday and Tales of Grace's F on Mondays. And then the weekends, I am leaving open for me to do what I'm calling optional bonus content. Sometimes it may be a top 10 video, sometimes it may be me talking about something in the video game industry. One video that I'm going to be working on very, very soon and may not have up right away because I think there's a lot of things that I need to put in that video, and I think it's going to be a very technical video that I'm not sure I'm prepared to actually do yet, but I'm going to start working on it, is top 10 ways that gamers are ruining the video game industry. So that'll be a very interesting one, I think. And I'm sure some of you who are, you know, regular gamers know at least the top 3 or 4 that I'm thinking of. But I think that'll be an interesting video that hasn't been overworked to oblivion yet. So that's one that I'm going to be working on. I'm also going to be working on the usual, you know, favorite characters, etc., etc. But the other thing I may do on those that I'm planning to do is any grinding that I do in game, especially for like items and things like that. I will most likely do as bonus weekend content, and those will obviously be related to a game that I'm playing. That way, so what you're going to want to do is subscribe to my channel so that you know when I do upload that bonus content. I just finished getting my master's degree in economics, so I'm in the process of searching for a job, which is why I'm kind of having a little bit of an ambitious schedule here at the beginning with 3 series running simultaneously, and you know, telling you that I'm gonna basically guarantee an hour a week of each series. But once I get a job that bites, a job, you know, interested in hiring me, my schedule may change a little bit. I don't know yet, obviously, because I don't know what job I'm going to be getting. But I fully intend to keep my 3 hours a week. That's why I, at least 3 hours a week. It just may change to different days, and obviously I'll let you know if that happens. But you're gonna wanna, like I say, you're gonna want to subscribe to the channel for just in case I do like bonus content on the weekend. And like I say, if you do enjoy watching the grinds, that's where they'll be. If you enjoy, like, especially if you enjoy like the item gathering type stuff. There you go. That's the level I wanted. We're almost done, so I'm just gonna finish it up. Let's see. I wanted to get Slapshot before I moved on. I think what I might do is, once I kill everything here, I might just save and quit on this island, and then we'll start from the cutscene next week. Or next episode. I'm going to be uploading these on a weekend. My first episode of each series and my introduction to my channel video will be going up on the weekend, and then the first regularly scheduled episode of this will be the first, you know, the next Wednesday. So in other words, that first week you're going to get 2 episodes of each of my streams. You know what? I'm not even going to bother to get those. We're going to go ahead and move on. Do the cutscenes leading to the next area, and then we'll quit.
Kairi!
Sora.
So, and that establishes that the wooden thing there is actually a quote-unquote door. So, the question that Sora asks the guy about how did you get here is interesting, because he didn't, obviously the door didn't open, because Sora would have seen it, because he was actually much closer to that than he was to where the guy was standing. That's always, you know, that well, I guess that's recently become a curiosity for me, because I didn't realize that the door was there. I forgot about this guy. The number of times that I've done this in the last week, and for me to actually forget about this. Which is thinking where to end the video, and forgot that I have to do this fight first. Let's see if I can do this right this time. Well, maybe if I could. There we go. That's what I wanted.
Come on!
The reason you want to do it this way is because you get 2 extra experience every time you land a finishing blow of the combo on the guy's head. So it's just a little bit more experience than what you would otherwise get. And you do a little bit more damage to the head than you do to everything else. This is his only new attack from what we saw the first time we fought him. Yeah, no, didn't think I wanted to do that. Seriously? Well, on that note, we're going to do this the next time because we're already over an hour. I don't think I've ever lost that fight before. So anyway, this is that shack that I was talking about, that all you have to do is go in here and walk back out, and it will reset all the Heartless out there. Or you can walk into the cave and walk back out too. That works. But alright, so that's going to be it. Hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button. Share it with your friends. And like I say, subscribe so that you know when I'm doing bonus content on the weekends, and feel free to watch my other series. I hope you'll enjoy them as well. Typically, if you enjoy this game, you'll probably enjoy at least one of the other games. Tales of Graces has a very similar story style and character interaction style to this game, whereas Final Fantasy 13 is more of the traditional fighting RPG. So, like I said, thank you for watching.